Week 16. Holy crap.
Crazy.
For those in season long, you're in your semifinals. We're not here to talk about that on this show, though. Obviously, I am not the other twin. We are missing the other twin momentarily. Hopefully, he'll be in soon.
So it's DFS Twin.
It's the DFS twin. That's right. Tony ate the other twin in the womb.
By the way, just for the record, I'm Julius. He's Vincent. For those of you who've seen the Twins movie, I'm the Arnold Schwarzenegger twin. He's the Danny DeVito guy.
I think we have a younger audience than that, but hey.
Twins has still got some run though.
Yeah, it does. If you can find it on the streaming services somewhere, I guess.
Sure.
So, Tony, did you have a good Christmas, buddy?
I did. I had a really nice Christmas. How was yours?
It was very nice, very relaxing, and just got to see family, and it was great. So
that's awesome. That's awesome to hear.
Now we're back to the grindstone.
Yeah, this was a different Christmas for us. We usually have my in-laws in to spend the Christmas, kind of the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, kind of spend the Christmas season with us. And my mother-in-law usually does all the cooking, so we all kind of look forward to her preparing her Christmas meal. And so this year with COVID, my older son, we thought he had COVID. It turns out he doesn't have COVID, but they decided not to come. So my wife took over, and she really outdid herself. So this was like my mother-in-law officially passed the baton to my wife. I think we're just going to have her do Christmas meal every year now.
Interesting.
So that was a nice highlight. We had this spectacular dinner. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, so week 16. Let's jump in here.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Tell us about your lineup, man.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. It's actually fun doing DFS with this the COVID situation. It's like you're having to regularly put a puzzle together and then break it down and reconstruct it. So the initial lineup that I had, I wound up scrapping because of COVID. And what I decided to do was I decided to really lean heavily on the Charger offense. I love Justin Herbert this week versus Houston. This is an offense too. They do not take their foot off the gas pedal when they have a lead. They continue to let Herbert just air it out. He has top six finishes in the last 8 games. And so I really, really wanted him in my lineup this week. And now with the loss, at least today, of both Mike Williams and Guyton, I wanted to get him stacked with Keenan Allen. So I love Keenan Allen in this game as well. I think that this probably, at least for me, is one of the best stacks, kind of right up there with the stack with Cooper Kupp. So anyway, Allen has really been a volume monster in this offense. He, on the low end, gets 26% of the target share. We've seen him get as much as 35%. So not only have they lost the 2 receivers, but Eckler is also out. So I would really look for them to kind of lean heavily on Allen, even on those underneath routes. Oh, here we go.
Hey, we got the other twin here.
Where's my
Good morning.
Must have overslept a bit.
I was up early preparing, went back to take a nap, just woke up.
He was trying to figure out how to deal, because he has Tom Brady in a number of his leagues. So he was trying to figure out how to deal with the fallout of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cutting Tom Brady. And
that was rough today. Yes, he was partying with Chase Claypool. That was his mistake,
So he's scrambling right now with the loss of Brady. I forgive you, Dave. No worries. I'm just gonna let's just pick it right up at where we started. We're just jumping right into the lineups. I figured, wasn't sure if you were jumping on or not, but I was telling Kyle and our viewing audience that this kind of was fun for me this week, the DFS, because I had to put together a lineup. I put it together Tuesday, Wednesday night, and then had to pull it back apart and put it back together again. And so initially I had gone with Stafford and Kupp, but I really love the Justin Herbert play this week. I love that offense against Houston. I was kind of mentioning to Kyle that they don't let up with Herbert in that passing game, even when they have a lead. He's finished six times. He's finished in the top six in the last 8 games. And I'm stacking him with Allen, especially with the loss of the 2 receivers with Mike Williams and Guyton, both out due to COVID, and also with Eckler, who gets a lot of those underneath routes. I like Allen an awful lot this week. So I decided to stack the 2 of them. And just to kind of get a monopoly here on the Charger offense, I also grabbed Justin Jackson. So I wanted to make sure that in any way that this team scores today, I was going to have a part of that. And so that's kind of where I started, was with Herbert, Allen, and Jackson. At the receiver position, I saw great value in Antonio Brown, especially with the loss of Godwin, with Mike Evans out. I think that he is an incredible value at only $4,900 in that Tampa Bay offense. Going into earlier part of the season, before Brown kind of went on an extended kind of vacation here with the Buccaneer offense, they were really utilizing him a lot in that passing game. He was kind of like the X factor. So I expect them to lean heavily on him the remainder of this season going into the playoffs. Love him at 4,900. And then at the third receiver position, I picked Russell Gage. Talked about him a lot on our snoozers and losers. Love the matchup this week with Atlanta. I wanted to make sure I figured out a way to kind of get Gage into my lineup as well. At the running back positions, I went with Cordarrelle Patterson against Atlanta. The only thing that concerned me with Patterson and Gage was playing them together. So I've got both the running back and the receiver position covered, but I do like the matchup against that Detroit defense. I also grabbed Ronald Jones to go with Antonio Brown. I guess I'm following a theme this week. I'm stacking the receivers and the running backs together on the matchups that I like. And then so at the tight end position, one of the guys that I absolutely love this week is Dallas Goddard. His routes run have actually been through the roof once they let go of Zach Ertz. He was running over 80% of routes on dropbacks, and he's kind of really capitalized on that and captured a 25% target share or more over the past 3 games. Giants are very, very, very soft against opposing tight ends, allowing almost 14 points per game. So that's my lineup. And I wasn't really looking at defense. That was kind of looking more at my offensive players. But once I set up my lineup, it left me with $3,200 remaining. And for that, I was able to buy the Buffalo Bills defense against that New England offense. I don't know that necessarily it's my most favorite defense of the week, but I don't expect this to be a high-scoring game at New England. I think it's going to be, another low-scoring game between these 2 teams. The final score could be 6-3. So that's it. That's my lineup for this week. And of course, I'm gonna live or die on that Charger offense.
It's not a bad hill to die on against that Houston defense. For sure.
And Herbert's been slinging. I mean, he's just
Yeah.
he's kind of playing at another. He might be the best quarterback play of the week.
Yeah. All right, David. Hit us with that beautiful beam footage, my guy.
Well, first off, I agree with you, Tony. I started out my week all excited to start Tyler Huntley for a bargain with Mark Andrews. And then yesterday found out that wasn't going to happen. Or actually the day before, pretty much. But
also, Mark Andrews was cut from his team.
Yeah, you guys let me live that down. I have one friend who told me he saw the same thing and we were talking about it. I think Schefter or Ian Rappaport or someone must have dropped a report that something leaked out, but I guess that maybe they threatened him if he didn't behave again. But yes, you can hold that over my head forever. I
will.
Tyler was cut.
Fully intend to.
He wasn't a good play, however, so I was right about that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I agree with Tony on a lot of the things he said. I kept looking at Keenan Allen. I kept thinking about using him. It sure looks like it's going to be really hard for him not to have a good game. But I couldn't get myself to do it, partly because Brandon Cooks is out for Houston. and even David Johnson, not that he's a factor, but I just don't know that Houston's going to put up enough offense to force the Chargers to have to score a lot, which is why I did like Justin Jackson. I think having the running back on a team that's destroying the other team is always good to have. And at 4,200, he's just so cheap. He's almost a free space. It's almost like if you don't play him, you're crazy. So I did put him in. Even at the price he's at, if he does poorly, he still might even be a good play. If he gets 10 points, it's enough. Usually I do that at tight ends. When you can do it at running back, it's crazy. I also love your Ronald Jones play and your Antonio Brown play, and I did them also. I don't know, again, how you don't play Antonio Brown at 4,900. The number one receiver with the recently cut Tom Brady is a must play this week. No, Tom has an incredible record of how well he plays after a loss, and I'm not sure he's ever been shut out before. I think he's going to come out and just be epic in this game. I also read just this morning, Carolina plans to get Sam Darnold out there on that field. So Tom might have the ball for 12 or 13 drives today. So again, I think Antonio Brown and Justin Jackson are sort of no-brainers that we'll probably see in every lineup we face. I like your Cordarrelle Patterson and Russell Gage plays, but Patterson just was too expensive for me. Ronald Jones, however, is also a bargain at 5,100. As long as he doesn't fumble the ball early. That's one of my main concerns today starting him, is he has a tendency to sort of buckle under pressure, make a mistake, and get yanked. I don't know that they have enough bodies to stop using him, even if that happens, but I started out with Jackson, Jones, and Brown just like you, and that was almost a core where I wanted to see what I could do. Even though I was high on Huntley, I was also high on Stafford, and unlike you, I kept him in there. The big change in my lineup that happened when I yanked Andrews out of it was all of a sudden I could afford Kupp. And I don't know that I've started Kupp once all year, but he has the best matchup for a cornerback this week, while being the best receiver in the league, while being in one of the highest projected scoring games of the week. And I'm starting his quarterback already. So putting Kupp in there was a no-brainer for me. Hopefully I won't jinx him and he'll keep up his streak. He's super expensive. He basically has to score 27 points to make it worth it to me, but I could see him scoring 40. And if that happens and Stafford go off at the same time, Minnesota's going to have to score to keep up, but I'll get back to that later. I had my starting running backs. I had two receivers. I needed to find some bargains now to fill out this lineup after what I had already put in. And my bargain tight end of the week that I love is Cole Kmet. I have a theory that starting a tight end with either a replacement or inexperienced quarterback is always good. And all of a sudden they announced Nick Foles is starting this week. Seattle is a really bad defense. I do think they'll score points against Chicago because they're at home. And again, Cole Kmet is 3,300. He gets me 5 catches, 50 yards. He's a great play already. If he happens to score a touchdown, it's a miracle. And he's incredible. I wanted James Robinson in my lineup, and I got him at the flex. I had Patterson in the flex originally when I was saving money and not doing Kupp, but Robinson I'm more than content with. Ever since Urban's gone, they've talked about running the ball more. They did last week against the Jets. You know, he should be terrific. And Laviska Shenault's not playing. They don't have a lot of options of who to get the ball to. I think it'll be a lot of James Robinson. I did the Falcons defense because Detroit is starting either some guy named Blau or some guy named Doyle. I don't think it matters. I want the defense playing those guys. And when I did all these bargains, I'll get back to that Rams-Vikings game. All of a sudden I could fit in Justin Jefferson. And I know they have Jalen Ramsey, but Jefferson is almost uncoverable. They're going to throw to him at least 10 times. There's no Dalvin Cook out there. A lot of people out there in fantasy daily worlds are talking about pushing Madison, but I think there's much better running back options that are cheaper. Madison's only been good against really bad defenses. His 3 good games, 2 were the Lions, 1 I believe was Houston. So this is a chance, I think, for them to be behind a lot, not able to run the ball. And I even heard Thielen might make it a go today, which might even open it up more for Jefferson. So I was excited to have a lineup with Cooper Kupp and Jefferson in it as a starting point, and I didn't think I had to put in any crazy players to make it happen.
Yeah, I love that Kupp Jefferson duo there. That's going to be gross.
And I don't see how I have Stafford and Kupp do well and Jefferson doesn't. So it's a common big fantasy tournaments in daily to try to load players on both sides to get the benefit. I don't usually do that in daily, but I'm so heavily invested in that game. I sort of need it to happen anyway, so I went all in.
I like it. Me and Tony had talked briefly about a potential lineup earlier this week that was a little more similar to what you ended up with. I don't know, Tony, did you want to touch on that briefly just to kind of see how we shifted?
No, I mean, I shifted because there was a couple players in there that we lost to COVID. Amon-Ra St. Brown we had in. But I started the week saying I'm tired of watching Cooper Kupp blow up every week and not being in my lineup. I will say this, just two quick things. One, just to rebut something David said, I'm not concerned about Herbert in the passing game. I want to say San Diego. The Chargers
I always do that. Yeah.
have leaned heavily on the passing game. And even when they have a lead, they pass the ball more than 60% of the times. So they're the third most passing offense, even when they have a lead. So I don't anticipate them taking their foot off the throttle. And Justin Herbert's just been on fire. So I really like him a lot, despite of what that game script might do. And that game has the 5th highest game total for Vegas. So I do think I don't anticipate Houston putting up many points. So they must really think that not San Diego, that the LA Chargers are going to score heavily in that game. As far as the Cooper Kupp, Minnesota right now, this is my, and this is kind of just more me, just being a little bit concerned about Kupp this week. The Vikings are in the 7th spot for the playoffs, meaning they have a playoff spot secured, but they're fighting for the playoff lives. And I've been reading more and more about how other teams are recognizing how Cooper Kupp has turned into an elite receiver. And I wouldn't be surprised with Zimmer having that defensive background, this kind of deciding more to bracket Kupp or to double team him. And not that I'm betting against Kupp, but I think I like the Herbert Allen stack more than the Stafford Kupp stack this week. So I mean, we'll see what happens today. But that was part of my thinking. I just don't see them doing anything. That's the Texans to slow down Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert.
Two things supporting what you're saying that was some of my back and thought in my own mind was Joey Bosa's out for the Chargers. So that could certainly help Houston to keep up a little bit and keep the game going. And I heard an interesting stat that Houston actually statistically has a highly successful special teams and even is opportunistic with turnovers and things like that. And the Chargers are one of the worst teams with special team coverage and success rates. The kicking game hasn't been good for them, obviously. So there's a chance that one of the things that could help Allen and Herbert is maybe a kickoff return for a touchdown by Houston, a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. And those are great plays for your fantasy offensive players if the team scores rapidly and no time is off the clock. So between a defense that's a little weakened without Bosa and those factors and the game being in Houston, you know, there are definitely some knocks against the Houston offense, but there are definitely some intangibles that could help Herbert to be throwing well into the 4th quarter as well.
Right.
I think for me, having Jackson also, I was sort of banking all in on him.
Sure.
I didn't want to
I get it.
Allen out there also. But just like you, we're both either winning or going down with the ship today. You with the Chargers and me with the Rams. So
yeah, so that's definitely, so you make some very good points, and you're right about that. We're gonna, like I say, you're going to die on that hill or clean up this week. The one thing that I will just kind of add real quick is that Cooper Kupp is 9,100 and Keenan Allen is 77. So there's a big price difference between the two. I thought Keenan Allen was a better value, and that kind of allowed me to do some other things in my lineup that I wasn't able to do otherwise, like get a Dallas Goddard, who I love in this matchup versus the Giants, and also a Cordarrelle Patterson. I get the value that's out there, and there are some guys I really like. CEH I really like this week. J-Rob I really like this week, but I just love this matchup with Patterson against Detroit, and so that was kind of just opened up the door for me to do some other things in my lineup that I wasn't able to do otherwise.
So I also think CEH is an interesting play this week without Hill and Kelsey sort of at practice all week. When I read that Hill is definitely in and Kelsey is a pretty high likelihood.
He's out.
He's out.
What?
He's officially out.
He's officially
out. Oh, I missed that. Okay. I know yesterday they left the roster spot open hoping he would qualify, but that makes CEH even more valuable then, because when they're in the end zone there, they'll be doing dump offs to him or running up the middle probably. David Montgomery is another guy that I found intriguing this week. Seattle's really bad against the run, and he's also affordable. So you definitely can shuffle your running backs to get what you want to make it work. My question is, with the Patriots being so conservative usually, and Mac Jones not making a lot of rookie mistakes and what you're paying for the Bills, did it occur to you to try to drop that and up something else a little higher? I've done that a lot in the past. If I like the defense, but then I realize, oh, wow, I can, turn Russell Gage into this guy. I didn't know if that crossed your mind. The other thought I was wondering is if you had any interest in Jordan Palmer on the Chargers at all, with basically every other receiver not named Keenan Allen out and even their tight end Parham not playing. I didn't know if Palmer was an idea you had. I was going to look into him until I went Justin Jackson, but he was another guy that I thought could be a sneaky add-on this week that's cheap.
Yeah. So first off, with your defensive question, I got the players I wanted in my lineup, and then I just bought the defense that I had that I could afford once I set my lineup. There isn't anybody there that I want to swap out.
Mm-hmm.
I like the players. I like the matchups. I like the upside that each of them kind of provides for me in my lineup this week. I did think about Josh Palmer.
Josh. Did I say Jordan?
Okay. With the loss of Mike Williams and Guyton. So I actually picked him up in my season-long auction league. Picked him up this morning and dropped Rashad Bateman. Yeah, I just don't think Rashad Bateman's going to do anything. So my question, this isn't DFS, but it's, where do I rank Josh Palmer? Is he a play over a guy like Van Jefferson, or do I kind of trust Van Jefferson in that matchup at Minnesota, especially if I think that Minnesota might kind of lean more towards bracketing or double teaming Kupp? Because I think this could be a really big game for Van Jefferson and or Odell Beckham. So
I'm glad you asked that, because I actually had Van Jefferson in my lineup, and part of the reason I pivoted to Cooper Kupp was I can't say the name of the cornerback, but I was reading, as I said, Cooper Kupp has one of the best matchups of the week in terms of the cornerback he's up against. Van Jefferson has one of the worst. I guess I don't know if they're predicting whatever nickelback they have to be on him, or if it's Patrick Peterson. But in a list of rankings of matchups of receivers to cornerbacks, Van Jefferson's was not good.
Yeah.
Whether the Cooper Kupp defensive plan will deviate from things, I don't know. But there's also Odell there. There's also a chance that they have a lead and are running it a fair amount. I think Palmer is a really intriguing play, because if you're Houston, you're doing everything you can to stop Keenan Allen, I would think.
Yeah.
And saying, go ahead and beat us with a rookie receiver.
No, and he had a blowout game a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, so I might pivot to him. I did grab him so I can kind of decide between now and game time. But yeah, I hear everything you're saying, and as much as we all kind of like Jackson and have him in our lineups, not exactly sure what to expect out of him today. So
there's another running back named Kelly that pops his ugly head at times for
touchdowns. Exactly.
But I do think that it's almost impossible not to play Jackson. So
Yeah, I hear you.
We got a question over here in the chat. Wants to know for his flex, should he start Cordell Patterson, Deontay Johnson, or Keenan Allen?
Wow.
I
What's the rest
like,
of the team look like?
yeah, right. I love Keenan Allen this week. I just think Keenan Allen could finish as the wide receiver 1 overall. He would be a guy that I would absolutely get into that flex position. He gets both volume, he gets red zone looks, and this is an offense that is going to lean heavily on him today at Houston.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. My question would be, who are you starting in your normal positions that these guys are left over? Because, for example,
Right.
you're starting,
That's a flex.
if you're starting Zeke Elliott or something, that's a mistake. I would be replacing, him in your lineup if you could. I don't know if Patterson can be dual eligible and you can make him a running back. I don't know who else you might have at receiver. Did you already play A.J. Brown and Devontae Adams or something on this team? But yeah, Keenan Allen would definitely be the one of those 3 to play. I'm always nervous starting a Steeler with Big Ben where he could get knocked out of the game. And the Chiefs defense has been playing a lot better. So Deontay was the first one off my list there, as good as he is. It was Patterson or Allen. And then with Patterson, you do have to worry about Mike Davis a little bit in that game, but Allen could finish as a number 1 player this week.
Yeah. That's funny you mentioned Zeke. Me and Tony were talking. I got a league I'm trying to pick between Zeke and Justin Jackson, as crazy as that sounds.
Oh, no, that's insanity. You start Zeke.
I was leaning Justin Jackson, so now I don't know. We'll see. Justin Jackson, Sonny Michel, or St. Brown with no Goff.
Yeah.
I'd go Justin Jackson in that.
Me too. So no Goff is a problem.
Big problem.
I know they're talking about Cam Akers a lot this week. I don't know that he's actually going to play in the game.
He didn't travel.
Okay. I know they activated him partly to activate some pension for him. But Darrell Henderson did eat into Sonny Michel a little bit last week. And it could be that it's more of a 50-50 this week, though they do like Sonny a lot. Justin Jackson is the clear number 1 for this week and could get a lot of opportunities. So I also like Justin Jackson.
And that game also could turn more into a shootout. And if that happens, they're going to see Henderson is going to get a lot more involved in that passing game. That's one thing. They don't dump the ball off much to Michel. So
yeah, I don't know that he's even out there on 3rd down.
Yeah, they lean on him more in the running game, and I don't see him having a big role this week in that matchup and how that game script could go. Whereas Justin Jackson is the only guy there, so I agree.
I am starting Amon-Ra St. Brown in the same league where Tony is deciding between Jefferson and Palmer, and I do like St. Brown over both of them actually, just because I do think Detroit's going to be losing, and he kind of reminds me when I watch him play of how Jefferson looked last year. Granted, I have no clue who the quarterback is and what their ability will be, but I know they'll be losing and have to throw it, and he'll be out there. So I could see him finishing with a lot of catches. So I wouldn't be scared to start him. I just think Jackson's safer.
Yeah, so Tim Boyle is the starting quarterback this week. I don't know who Tim Boyle is, and I don't know what type of chemistry he has with St. Brown. I just think that's
probably not great.
That's a major gamble for me without Goff. Certainly he's got a significant role in that offense now with Goff, but no Goff means for me no St. Brown.
No go without no Goff.
We've kind of seen over and over and over again this year the significance of good quarterback play versus bad quarterback play. We've seen Darnold play really well earlier in the season. DJ Moore was through the roof. Sam Darnold fell apart, and DJ Moore's value took a collapse. Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney in Chicago, the receivers in New York with the Jets. You have poor quarterback play. It just destroys the value of your receivers. And I just think he has a very, very low ceiling this week. I'd be very scared of St. Brown.
You feel nervous enough with him on a normal week with Goff. You really want Goff's backup throwing?
Not just that, but it looks like, and I know I haven't made it official yet, but it looks like Swift could be back in that lineup today as well. And so that, to me, knocks St. Brown even more.
Definitely. If Swift is playing, that's a lot of running we're going to see out of Detroit. Craig Reynolds has already been doing well. I'm sure that's how they'll try to protect whatever quarterback is in there. I have to tell you, this is a really Good show. You guys are full of info. You've told me that Kelsey's out, which broke my heart. But you told me who the starting quarterback is for the Lions. You guys are well informed. I need to watch you more often.
That and Chase Claypool is back with the Steelers. They released him
I did not see that coming.
Only say that because it looks like that's the next question.
Yes.
Yep. So we got full PPR, St. Brown, Thielen, or Claypool. I think we pretty much expressed our feelings on St. Brown. But Thielen
that's
and
a different
Claypool
list, though.
Yeah.
I don't think you can start Thielen this week. He's going to give it a go is what they talked about. So that sounds dangerous. And, I can never start Claypool because I feel he's been cut. So I would do St. Brown. But I would understand if everyone else did Claypool.
He's cut to me, right?
I will never draft or play him just to have my integrity.
So St. Brown it is for you. I think in that list, I'm also going with St. Brown.
Yeah.
I don't like Thielen. Claypool. He seems to be a little bit in the doghouse. He was pretty much non-existent last week. He might as well have been cut.
And again, that Chiefs defense has been playing quite well.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup.
Yep. So St. Brown.
And we're seeing Ben age right before our eyes.
Yeah. Gibbons, 16 team, grab Palmer for first flex. Second flex is between Penny and Burkhead. I'm going Penny. I actually was high on Penny. I haven't been able to use him because I had better players always available, but Collins doesn't look like much. And Penny seems to be getting the bigger portion of the carries. I don't think that Chicago game's ever going to be out of reach for them. Foles will probably throw a pick or two. I'm definitely excited about Penny's opportunities today. That Houston Texans offense, I have no clue how to read it. And Burkhead is good for some catches, most likely, but I would do Penny.
I guess I would agree. I'm wanting to see what's going on with David Johnson. I thought I read something.
Johnson's out.
That he is out.
He is out. Him and Cooks are both officially out.
Right. Wow. That does kind of change my view of Burkhead a little bit. The problem with Burkhead is he just has not been very efficient in that offense.
I think between the two, I'd rather have Royce Freeman if I'm picking a Houston running back today. Did you actually just say that out loud? I did. Yeah, see, and that's why you don't start any running back on the Texans. Exactly. Basically, every 3 Texan running back carries is worth 1 carry on any other team. So 3 is generous. I'd say 4 or 5, but yeah.
The one thing with Penny is he at least showed you that he has a high ceiling, that he has the ability to kind of put up some good numbers. So I would really lean Penny as well.
He looked like an NFL running back. He can break a 15-yard run. Burkhead, if he doesn't fall forward into the end zone, is not going to break 7 points. So
do we like Seattle D against Foles or Cincy against Josh Johnson?
So I think in that case, I actually would go Cincy defense. I think they're the better defense to begin with. The Ravens have been incredibly generous to opposing defenses, whether it was Lamar Jackson or Huntley, and now it's Josh Johnson. You're not crazy to start the Seattle D against Foles, but I think they're going to run David Montgomery a lot, and they seem able to run it. And I just think that they are a more reliable defense to begin with Cincinnati, and they're playing for something. Seattle has nothing to play for.
Hot puppy.
Sorry. My Christmas puppy. She was napping and just woke up, so I had to grab her real quick. That's the DFS triplets.
There you go.
How about you, Tony? Do you like the Cincinnati defense against third-string quarterback Josh Johnson or the Seattle defense against third-string quarterback Nick Foles?
This is like a streaming thing this week. Is that what we're doing? We got to pick a defense.
I assume so. Yeah.
This is a 16-team league, he said. So there's
that's right. It's the same league.
Yeah. Baltimore, they've been a very nice matchup for opposing defenses this year. They do kind of have a tendency to turn the ball over. I'd probably lean the Bengals.
That's what I had said as well.
I like that. I like them more in that matchup against Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson's an older quarterback too now. What's he, 35, 36 or something?
He was let go by the Jets. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a very good point.
I think the Cincinnati offense is actually better than the Seattle offense also. There is a good chance that they're going to put up a lot of points against Baltimore without any defensive backs that any of us ever heard of going against Higgins and Chase and Boyd. So I could picture that Cincinnati team jumping out to a big lead and that defense getting to tee off on Johnson.
Yeah,
I think the Seattle-Chicago game is lower scoring across the board.
Well, and Foles is not a. I mean, he's a decent replacement. You know,
he's a Super Bowl winner.
He's a Super Bowl winner, exactly. So yeah, definitely that Cincy D. They might be. That might actually be a nice stream. You know, surprise stream this week at the defense spot.
Yeah, I actually had them in until I had a price down to Atlanta. But when I was originally going with getting rid of the Baltimore players because of the change of quarterback, I had flipped the Cincinnati defense in, but just couldn't afford Justin Jefferson as well if I didn't drop down to Atlanta. But I like them as an option also if you want something sort of more expensive than Atlanta, but still affordable.
I do like that, Brian. I do like that the running back defensive stack too. So I'm not crazy about Chase, but I do like the mix in Cincy defense stack, especially if that script works out that way.
I think Chase could have a big game again. He had a monster game against them last time, but sometimes when that happens, teams figure it out. It's usually tough to either have two terrible games or two huge games against the same team.
No,
but
I agree.
can't see Chase not finishing as a solid play at least. And Mixon keeps getting a little banged up, so they might have to lean on the pass a little more. But I would be starting all three of those today with confidence as well.
I don't disagree with Chase. Chase has been a little bit of boomer bust. That Baltimore secondary is also banged up a bit more than they were in the first matchup. So I don't dislike
200 yards the first time, I think. So
no, I don't dislike him. So yeah, that's a good start.
All right, it looks like all of our questions. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let people go set all their lineups before the games start today. If you're in season long, good luck in the playoffs. If you're in DFS, good luck. Hopefully you're not starting Claypool, who was cut last and re-signed. I'm serious. I'm not going to let you forget that ever.
I deserve it. I at least should have saved the tweet that I read where it happened so I could show you, but I didn't. So
it's out there somewhere. If you want,
if I see one ever again, I'm going to
on that internet somewhere.
Yep,
somebody can find it. But I don't know where to find it. I also believe today is your birthday, David. Is that correct? Yes.
I am an old man officially. The big 5-0. Hopefully my Cowboys will give me a present to end the day. But nice. Yes, so all I wanted was, for Chase Claypool to actually be cut, but that's not going to happen. So I'll have to just ask for a Cowboys win now. And before I see you next, I'm going to be watching my Michigan Wolverines play next weekend against Georgia. I get to go to the game, so hopefully when we talk next Sunday, I'll be wearing a shirt from that game and bragging about a win.
That will be a lot of fun. And look at the bright side. You're younger than Tony, so that's an absolute win.
And I'm prettier than both of you.
And you what?
Prettier than both of you.
That's fair. That's totally fair. All right, fellas. Well, good luck today, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks, everybody, for being here in the chat.
Good seeing you guys.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Oh, and Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
That's right.